Going on, YouTube world? Steve, Vincenzo, Dave, IRP 189, second in our series of a walk down memory lane, sort of highlighting a specific product, showing it off fully, not through.
As fully as we can.
You saw the Troy Brown on the placeholder. That's as close as you're going to get to the regular base Autographics. So that's why that made the appearance there. So
kind of had a feeling that was the reasoning behind that.
Did the research found out there were several Autographics inserted into the EX. Well, I know last week or a couple last weeks we've sort of been on the fence of not knowing if there's a limited amount, and everything else would have been like Ultra, Fleer, Tradition, a couple of the other brands there.
Skybox Premium.
Yeah, Impact might have had something, or a couple low end, lowest rung type cards, but I don't know what it was, 68 cards, 63, I think I counted somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in that vicinity.
And some good names. I mean, there's some big names in that one too. So it's I think some of the rookies were more in that because it was a later set. I don't know. Again, I didn't look at the Tradition or Skybox Impact, which were usually a couple of first sets out in the year, and they still had the, I don't know if it was a training camp or the airbrushed type photos on there of the rookies. So, but yeah, we'll get into that and drop some hobby knowledge on everyone and out of the football realm, since football doesn't exist and there's not enough out there, and we're gonna put it out there and we'll see the views, the likes, the sponsorship. I mean, it's gonna fucking come flooding in like a dam breaking in Mankato, Minnesota.
No. Even if a sponsorship came around, I doubt we would accept it. Because
No.
why would we want to conform to what somebody else wants us to be, or try and become mainstream? Never gonna happen.
No.
Because I'm sorry, I'm not minding my P's and Q's. Well, I take that back. I'll mind my P's and Q's. but my opinions are my opinions, and
you'll mind your P's and Q's, but not for someone else.
I will be politically correct. I will do my best to not offend somebody, but my opinions are my opinions. And if you don't like them, then change the channel.
And watch some vintage baseball talk.
It's no different. Vinny has his opinions. Dave has his. We're like-minded in a lot of scenarios and conversation components, but not always. But at the end of the day, I'm going to respect your opinion, because it's your opinion. It's what you think about something. We're not throwing facts. If we throw facts, we make sure that we are in fact throwing facts. We do our research. But more so nowadays than ever, the bulk of what you see out there from a live stream or whatever, the bulk of it's opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And we've said it since day one. We're probably the outliers in a lot of sense. But that's who we are.
The black sheep, as they say.
Yes, that is your nomenclature. That is correct.
That is the older nomenclature. The outsiders, the outcasts.
I like it on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is. But people still come around. People still watch. Most
Gotta
people
get your
aren't as
ideas from somewhere.
well. This is true too, because it's football, and this is what everybody wanted to see. It'll be interesting to see who actually comes around a little bit later when we start diving into the details and specifics of the set. Because
As
remember,
specifics.
you people picked this. We gave you the options. You picked this. So we are giving you what you want.
Give the people what they want, and they will always come back for more. Possibly.
And it is still, not even allegedly. It's still under discussion, but it is a high probability that the next group of selections, it's rumored that it may actually be hockey. I don't know. We'll see. But it's been rumored. Not sure where I heard it from. And not quite sure how the poll's going to get up on the channel for that sport, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see.
I think it was an intermission on one of the Hobby Palooza shows that they asked that, and to the best of my recollection, again.
Of watching Zero?
Yeah. Correct.
And for those who give a shit, as we lost a few viewers, prime reason, because I've talked about this for a multitude of reasons. It's a good thing because we had to have our AC replaced. At the tune of over $14,000. But damn, does it work like a champ.
And down there, you need it. 11 and a half months of the year.
That's a little bit of a stretch, but like I'll give it to you.
Not by much, though.
It got installed on Monday, and once they turned it on and finished like getting all the ducts and stuff hooked up, it was averaging a degree drop every 40 minutes, which isn't bad considering it was like officially a DFW, I think we hit 100 degrees, but I think we got like to 98 or 99, but the heat index was like 107 or 108. So for it to drop a degree every 40 minutes, starting about 5:30, 6 o'clock, was pretty impressive.
And welcomed, I'm assured.
Well, it got up to 87 in the house, so it was a little miserable. But
And that's not allegedly.
no, that is not allegedly. And that's, of course, what the thermostat was showing. Who's to say it may have been hotter?
Yeah.
But that's what the thermostat was showing. So I set it for 74, which is typically what we keep it set on during the summer. And waking up Tuesday morning, thermostat still at 74, but the temperature in the house was 71. It was fucking beautiful. It was almost cold. So it's nice to be cool again. So well worth the investment. $3,800 to fix the problem. A little over 14.5 to replace the whole fucking thing. So that's new furnace, condenser, the whole kit and caboodle.
The furnace too, you said?
Yep. Yep. New thermostat. They replaced the supply line. Like it, the whole fucking thing is new.
What kind of warranty comes with something like that?
Usually, well, they're always limited warranties.
Mm-hmm.
But this one has a 5-year warranty. Bumper to bumper. And of course, it's limited up to 10 years. So, but I can't complain. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. And we have up to 10 years to pay it off. So,
Which that's nice too, instead of a very limited time to turn around and try to pay for something of magnitude.
Well, and there's no prepayment penalties, so like we'll have it paid off before then.
Okay.
But you know, you have to do what you have to do, at least in the early on. And you know, we'll pay on it for a bit, get it paid down a little bit, and then one of us will take out a 401k loan and then just pay the fucker off. So, like I said, well worth it because it's been, I won't say it's been miserable because we're not summer yet, but temperatures hovering right around 100 degrees and, you know, heat indexes between 107 and 110. A little early for that.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad it's done. And I sleep really fucking good too.
Yeah, without. Oh, yeah, it's. I mean, up here when it gets quote unquote warm, and it's in like the 70s at night, and you have. And again, I know it's nothing like down there, but you have the 100% humidity and everything. You just the air doesn't move. When the air doesn't move, it's like being on a beach, sort of halfway submerged in the water. Or if you move, you feel it.
Yep.
And then you wake up, and then you're basically back to square one because you're so fucking hot. So,
well, so I mean, I sleep with the fan in my face too, because I sleep very hot. The worst time for my body temperature to actually like feel it. And if I get too hot, like I go into a major ass coughing fit. So, like I need it cold. I need it cold.
The birds agreed.
Overheat. Like the freaking light starts flashing, overheat, overheat, overheat. So light crowd this evening, but if anybody missed it, I did mention briefly there is a rumor that the next survey / poll may or may not be hockey. left to be determined. Uh, the biggest difference with that is I'll be here because I'll have nothing to add. Uh, anything that y'all pick, I'm not going to have anything. So, like, it's just not going to happen. And if the budget's at zero for the most part, I can't say it's completely at zero. I did acquire something uh, from Triple Crown 24 because anytime he gets a TD card, he reaches out. So a big shout out to JT for reaching out. Was a card that I needed. Um, supposed to be here Friday, so next week I'll show it off. Nothing, nothing huge, but it's nothing small either. Considering. And he reached out to me. Price was reasonable. Don't mind helping out a fellow YouTuber. So that's what you're supposed to do. Take care of each other. So I'm actually looking forward to getting that because that'll actually finish that run, so to speak. And of course, no matter what I say, I can't give it away. Like Vinny and Dave know what it is. Of course, Dave didn't even really comment about it. Vinny did.
Well, you said it wasn't that big of a card, so I knew that, and I'm just like, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even get a noise out of you.
Or an adequate or anything, yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing.
No, I like it. I mean, that's one of the. Again, I wish they would have sort of continued that in that particular set. I liked that design, and I liked how it was done because it was done previously, a couple years previous, over the gamut of anything they had. So, and again, and that's where I say the building of relationships. That
Yep.
if I'm good for one thing, that's what it's going to be. Before JT and I started talking, we didn't really know each other. Obviously, I know he's a Miguel guy, a Josh Johnson. We've referenced the Hobby Palooza before with the Super Collectors Unite type thing or whatever it was. And again, having him on here, and it's just again, you don't have to be best friends with everybody, but if you see something of somebody, hey, I saw this of a guy, a Minnesota Twin. I gotta see if what's Dustin and Blake. Dustin needs it. See if he needs it. If he doesn't, does Mike? Does somebody you can always go back and try to remember it again. You remember my guys. That good for you. That's a lot. But I mean, if you know Josh Johnson, Northcutt, Kerry Collins, maybe even Brodeur in there, and that's the extent of it. That you are doing better than most. So I mean, that's where we always look out for each other, and it's nice to see that. And even with a pittance paid for the AC repairs, it's always nice to see a couple dollars being flung for something that's at the time when it came out was pretty fancy. It still holds up reasonably well in that fancy category now, even with all the shit that's come out over the last X amount of. I don't even give the years away. I'll just say the X amount of years.
Nope, 100%. And the price. Listen, like we didn't even negotiate. Like he's like, "This is what I'm asking for it." I did a quick search just to kind of get an idea because what I had in my mind, it was close, anyways.
Mhm.
What's going on, Baz?
As
And when I actually did a search, I was like, okay, like the gap was like this between the two recents. one ungraded, one graded a 9, and you would have thought that. And looking at my hands, as far as like this high end was not the graded card. If you can believe that, the ungraded actually sold for more than the graded. And we're talking like within months of each other. Go figure. And that's not going to tell you anything either. So, like, you're going to get no information unless JT like decides to spill the beans, which I don't think that's going to happen. So,
No.
So yeah, really excited about that. One that I won't say that has eluded me. I've watched a few of them over the years. Nothing recent. But you know, it's timing is everything, and that's what I always say. You know, if things are meant to be, they're meant to be. If they're not, you know, maybe there'll be another opportunity. But again, you know, it's YouTuber taking the time to reach out, asking if I needed it before, you know, he looked for other avenues. You take advantage of those situations as long as like you can come to an agreement. Like sometimes you may not be close, but there was no haggling at all. And those are the ones that I actually like. Those are easy. So, yep, I'll show that off next week. Again, not a huge card, but not a small card either. So, hey, Orlando.
In the middle.
I can't even say the middle. It's like it depends on kind of where you put it on your spectrum. You know, I'll give away one thing. It's a 90s card. I'll give you that much. So that could be a multitude of anything. And it's not common. You can interpret that however way you want. So I gotta ask Dave, did you end up snagging like a rookie, or we just
I didn't.
going with the? I didn't think that you did because when we talked, you know, it was on your list, but you had other priorities. So like I made sure I pulled everything. So like we're good from that perspective. So yeah, who wants to see some cards? Who wants to get some knowledge? Anybody? Does anybody give a shit? Again, remember, y'all voted for this.
Correct.
We're giving you what you wanted.
Gonna see if I wanna. Didn't win that. Okay, I won that. Good. There was
Oh, Dave had to check some auctions.
yeah, all the notifications on top. I don't want to be sitting there and got outbid on one thing I really don't care about. Come on, Dopey.
I guess.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
Thanks, Orlando.
Wow. Which Johnson would you like to see? He's got, you know, a few hundred.
Yeah, come on. Actually, won a couple of them last night, but
your 6th and 12th and 27th copy.
One, I know I don't even know what the one will be. They're both graded, so one. I don't know if I've got the one graded already. I'm sure I do. But multiple copies, and then the other one, I know I've got it like 2 or 3 at least. but I don't think graded. And if I do, it's PSA. This is not PSA.
Gotcha.
I've got him somewhere dopey. A lot of his stuff has come way back down after getting the brief appearance, I think, with Baltimore a couple years ago. With San Fran or whoever the hell it was when he played a game or two and did okay, or Jets or whatever. But
yeah, Dave and his failed collections.
Went through before we start. I saw one of the suggested videos yesterday, maybe yesterday or the day before. Every NBA game-ending buzzer beater since like 98, 99, or 99, 2000. Might have been 99, 2000 season. It's only 4 hours long. Start this. Boy, oh boy. You want to, again, go back and watch some really grainy video. Half the stuff I don't even know where they pulled from because it's in like either this like German stuff, like broadcasting or like over laying of the vocals or the narrative, and then there's like Espanol, and there's Jordan with the Bulls, and there's Jordan with the Wizards. Cleveland, when Jordan came to town with the Wizards, it's full. When it was like the New Orleans Hornets going there were more people dressed as seats than there were fans. So, but the fun part, and Naomi didn't seem to care, which isn't shocking. Lee Nalen had a jumper to win the game, and I said, "That's my boy." Again, one of the many, but I'm like, he was so good at TCU, minus like balls out for defense. I thought he was going to be something special, and then I'm trying to remember who was like the next highlight. They got beaten, and there he was on the side of the bench, just sort of looking in disbelief. And then you see some of the final scores; it's like 72-70. Like, did they hide the ball for a quarter or half? I mean, well, what were they playing? So, again, I haven't gotten far in that because I started to get bored with it because of the grainy video. I mean, there's one that was, I don't even know, they filmed it through a potato through like
Kind of like some old YouTube videos.
It's bad. It's even worse than that. I mean, it's really bad. So, but again, something different for Sean Leonard. You've seen him and Flip Murray. I mean, all these guys, I haven't heard of them in like 20 plus years for obvious reasons. So that's fun. So again, that'll pop out like 10, 15 minutes of that, maybe a day. Get done with that by the end of the month, and
Well, you have something. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming. I don't like to assume, but I'm going to use the word anyways. I'm assuming you're going to eventually watch Behind the Curtain that dropped today on YouTube.
which is
WrestleMania Behind the Curtain.
I'm sure I will.
It dropped tonight.
Is that a rattlesnake?
No, that's a
air
locust.
conditioner.
And that's a truck with loud exhaust. So I'll finish this, then we'll start showing off some cards. You can do all the commentary though. That was a okay. got it. I'll do all the commentary.
Gabagool.
And unfortunately or fortunately, depending on who you ask, I guess, you'll get to see my face more than you will Dave's this go round.
Which viewership should go up at least a little bit.
Oh, I don't know. Depends on who you ask. And then you got Vinny sorting and looking through cards and making all sorts of noise down there as he's dropping shit in his box. Yes, that's a hockey card.
88 of 125. Lindros.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
Possibly.
Larry Walker.
Lawrence Welk.
Larry Johnson.
Josh.
Jose Uribe.
Juan.
Go turnip. Mushroom.
Squirrel. We're at least saying names, Vinny. Come on.
No, there's some softball stuff. The Tops released that Athletes Unlimited thing again, but this time in a different format. And I don't remember if it's all. I think it was 4 packs a box. I don't know if it's $40. And you got 2 autos, couple numbered, I think, stuff of that nature. And so I looked it up last night, and I think there's 6 quad autos, but there's 6 quad autos of varying numbering. There's 75, 50, 25, 10, and I'm guessing 5 and 1. So I mean, at least with that, there's going to be a healthy chunk of quad autos if you look at it overall a print run. So I wish some of these player combinations were better, but again, you're not going to see all the good players on one card. That's just not how Top would choose to do it to make every card semi-desirable. So we got one going off a little bit here. So that was one of the notifications I'm looking at. I already put a bid on it, so we'll see where that ends at.
Everybody ready to see some cards? Or does anybody care? You know, Orlando, we already got Orlando's take.
Orlando's on the edge of his seat.
And my child.
Orlando's the Valley of Michael Buffer. Are you ready? I said IRP community. Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Generation X proudly brings to you its WWE Tag Team Champions of the World. Oh, sorry. This isn't a wrestling episode. I apologize.
For the 4 in attendance and the 5 that may happen across within the archive, let us get ready to go through 1999 EX Century football.
Foosball. With all your fancy foosball friends.
I think Williams Jr. We're about to get rowdy up in this biatch.
Yeah. Yep. So 13, 14, whatever it is, voted for it, and we got 4 people here watching. Not many cars to show, but still. Dave will be on commentary.
Yep.
So, 99 EX Century Football. Some little details. Only 2 cards per pack. Crazy when you think about it. So when you think of like insert odds and things along those lines, you're not getting a whole lot per box.
No.
How many packs per box?
I don't know, Dave. Go pull up the picture, Vincenzo.
Wasn't it 20? I thought there was 20.
Come on, Vinny. Contribute here.
I got the night off.
No, you don't ever have the night off. If that's the case, then the only time we really have the night off is when we have Jeff.
Yeah.
Then we kind of have the night off.
Point taken.
And he's still not looking at the picture.
I'm getting there.
No, you're not. You're jacking around with cards.
Well, I got to do what I got to do.
I think it was 20 packs because again, you see the base, you see the parallels. Again, that was when that came out in '97. That was the deal where it was like a super premium card where you had the multi layers of varying technologies.
Doesn't say. Hold on.
Yes, I'm actually going to, well, got to pull up the actual eBay picture. Oh, and you're right. Does not say. But, however, we do have a little bit more information this go around.
I even wrote down all the odds and all that stuff too.
Well, that's what I was going to show this. So, like, if you've got it written down.
Yep. I don't have the number of cards. I think one was a 15 card set, one was a 20 card set.
Yeah, that's not as important.
It's like when it says the extraordinary or the bright lights, I think it says like 15 card.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does not say. But just to show you though, 2 cards per pack.
And there's plenty of packs that are on eBay that are in like $50 to $60 range. And again, buyer beware. So again, you don't know if it's just an aim is there away and somebody else in there, but it's because they could reseal that stuff. But
So we will start off with the base card. This is not a refractor.
The hollow.
It's not a hollow. It's not a silver. Although people have a tendency to notate them as such. And yes, it is acetate. See the finger? So this is the base card. And yes, you're going to see Terrell Davis in all these cards, except for one. But this is the back. Kind of cool if you ask me, because it kind of, with the stripe and the player, I'll call it like the shadow on the back. It's kind of cool. Not much from like a stat perspective, but, for something on an acetate card, they at least give you, some stats. So,
And with those, again, that was made again when you came into like the super premium stuff. It was more meant to look like a high end insert because again, that was what you wanted to at the time get. So hey, this is basically a regular set of look high end looking insert type cards. So you weren't looking on the back for like the top stats or the upper deck base stats. I mean, you got those cards to fulfill that part of your like collecting desire. This was the aesthetic part of the collecting desire.
yep. And for context, also, they do in a couple years they do have the EX previews in a few sets. So like
98 had it in Thunder, I think.
so like if Terrell Davis was in the preview set, you may or may not see this card in that same set
Mm.
in the preview set. Different numbering.
Yep.
Because it's an insert compared to the base card. And I guess I probably should have looked just to see because I have 98 and 99 sitting here, but it would probably take longer for me to look and find and see. There's Collector's Edge. Let me actually see. Gold label. Clear tradition, maybe. Let's see. Because I know he does have a preview. I just don't remember what year.
98. I remember pulling it way back in the day and being like, what the hell is this? Why is this in here?
Finest. Yep. There we go. Different looking card though.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
that's
more raised technology on that than I believe the 99. More you have the activate layer, the color layer, and then you have that shimmer layer.
So there you go. Anyways, on to the first insert set, which is what?
The lowest or the easiest odds to pull something was extraordinary, and those were 1 in 9.
These are kind of. It's not going to show. These are lenticular motion. Well, I guess you can kind of see it if you focus on it enough. But they are a lenticular motion.
So they got a jambalaya feel to them.
I was gonna say, yep, that
would be
it. That other football set. What's it called? Extraordinary. Was it called that as well?
I know what set you're talking about. The one with the 3 different color parallels.
Yep, red, green, and blue.
Yep. Same set, but the year 2000.
Exceptional.
There you go.
And it also has the color feel to those hockey that had it was Richter, Bork, Waugh, Dave. I can't think of them. They were out of Score or Pinnacle, one or the other. I will have to look.
So you stumped me.
Wow, write that on the calendar. So again, like I said, it is lenticular motion. It's really hard for it to pull up, but just for context, this is the back. And no, I didn't pay that for that card. This came from a collection from quite some time ago that I purchased, and I never bothered to change out the top loader. But there is the EX Extraordinary. Next up,
We got 1 in 24, so approximately, I'm guessing, one a box. And depending on the pack out for the box, it's either 20 or 24. And that's Bright Lights.
Joe is saying First Strike as far as the set that you were talking about, Benny.
First line, it's first line. 94, 95, select first line.
Okay.
So 1 in 24, and it's called what, Dave?
Bright Lights.
So another acetate. Well, there it is. See the finger? So this is the regular Bright Lights insert. There's the back. Not much to it. I mean, that's pretty much all you get: the number, the name, the logo, and the year, rights, all that kind of fun stuff. But so nothing super special about this, really, other than the fact that it's acetate.
Yeah, and like a neon color.
Yep. Which brings us to what?
Well, then we've got the Autographics.
Oh, you're throwing a curveball on me.
Because I think they are going to be easier to get. Again, I don't, and it just for what it
And that's
said.
fine. That's fine. I'm okay. I just figured we'd go from regular insert to like the parallel, but all good. No worries.
We're gonna finish with the fireworks. It's the 4th of July tomorrow. We're gonna
But
the grand finale.
The parallel I was talking about
Okay.
is the Bright Lights orange. So this is the parallel to the other one.
Yep.
So we've got the yellow and we've got the orange. The orange is harder.
Yes.
Same card, just different color. Nothing special to it. So now we'll go to Autographics. As we mentioned, in the placeholder, you got the base Autographics. So you could at least have an idea of what it looks like. Like last time, I had the base Autographics, but I didn't have the century marks. This go around, I don't have the base Autographics, but I have the red foil variation, which are a lot harder to get. A lot harder. I don't like the fact that they call it red because it's actually like pinkish purple.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the Autographics quote unquote red version. And the biggest difference between 97 century marks to 99 red, these are numbered to 50. So there's your red foiling. Like I said, it's more pinkish purple. There is the stamp, so you know it's legit. Now I haven't seen any, because like I don't check any other players or anything. I haven't like stumbled across any that don't have like the stamp. But if you're looking for the red parallel, you want to make sure that, you know, that's the color of the foliage. Like I said, it's pinkish purple. There's the stamp.
You share whatever you want to call it.
And
Go grab your box of Crayola and look at it.
Yep. And then hand numbered. One off the jersey number. And of course, it does have the certificate on the back.
Which that made it difficult to try to actually have a numbering from a set perspective. Like, hey, again, it was just listed alphabetically in Beckett, but it was never done as such on the back where the Terrell Davis card number 14, 21.
Yeah, and you can see the stamp also right here
Coming through the back as well.
Coming through the back. So again, a little bit different compared to 97 compared to 99. This time I had the variation, but again, much harder, lower numbered.
And those are 1 in 68, and there was, I don't know if it was 63 or 68 available subjects through the EX brand. And that, again, that doesn't mean that it doesn't cross over. Because a lot of them crossed over to like we said, the Fleer Tradition, Fleer Ultra, Skybox Impact, Skybox Premium. You could have got your Jermaine Crowell second year autographics in there. You could have got your Amos Zaraway, your Rob Conrad rookie. It could have been in any one of those. So there might have been specific players that were EX only. Like the Randy Moss, he was in there. So that could have maybe been a high end only. Instead of putting him in Impact or something like that, or Peyton Manning. Again, the Beckett would used to give you like 5 or 6 if you had the low end guys, and then maybe 1 or 2, again, depending where they were seated. So,
yep. TD was in 3 different sets, at least. Keeping in mind, based on what Beckett states, take it for what it's worth. But TD is notated as being randomly inserted in 3 different sets. EX being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I will exit since you said we'll go out with fireworks.
With the good. Again, it just said randomly inserted in packs. I think there's between 12 and 15 of these guys, and several are rookies.
Many.
Yeah, it's not a whole heck of a lot. I know I saw Brock Heward for sale, the old Seattle quarterback from the University of Washington. Cunningham's in there. But the copy you're going to be blessed with today, former Penn State wide receiver, perennial disappointment for fantasy football for the Miami Dolphins, O.J. McDuffie. Again, you can see the numbering is different, varying serial numbering on here. There wasn't anything to like 5. I think Ricky Williams had one, maybe. I don't remember. No, Torrey Holt might have been in there too. I want to say maybe no, Joe Germain had one as well. Ohio State quarterback for the Rams, 4th, 5th, 6th round pick in '99. But again, the game used shoe swatch and window here. Again, little foil with the EX.
Very tough.
Again, your verbiage on the back. Congrats, you get a piece of the shoe. Shoe worn by O.J. McDuffie, but didn't say like in a game used shoe, so you don't know. But again, still something back then where everything was blowing up where jersey cards were everywhere by this time in '99. So to have something like a shoe, start getting something different, the helmet piece, the shoe piece, a multicolor swatch, an actual patch swatch, the face mask cut off, which would come with what Elite a year later or 2 years later, stuff like that. Where again, you inundated the market with relic cards, and you needed something different. And again, a nice play on the word, authentics, and then the shoe. I just wish again a lot of like Leaf would do this at the time, but they if you just showed the shoe on the back somewhere amongst all that, maybe make him a little smaller, the font a little smaller, and show a couple pairs of shoes or whatever the case may be, just to show them.
And Leaf being Donruss Leaf playoff,
Yeah,
not the Leaf that we see
not
today.
Brian Gray, not Brian Gray, and then whoever got it from him or whatever, but like old school Leaf.
Yeah, Donruss Leaf playoff, Leaf era.
So, again, some of the stuff's fairly reasonable, but
Extremely tough pull though.
yeah, you weren't gonna find somebody pulling one out of a pack, and if you did, that wasn't a lottery ticket because again, you didn't have a huge checklist, a huge name checklist. So, but to get something different back then, like I said, it was a treat where it wasn't just a fucking one color white jersey or a black jersey or dark blue or something cool, something different.
Yep.
So, again, when everything was you had so much going on card wise, design wise. When you could get something where people are like, oh, that's unique, that's different. I mean, you if nothing else, you hit a single better than striking out. So,
Yep.
and finally, the two main chasers basically of any EX over any iteration of them.
Which I'm surprised didn't bring more people to the table because not many people get to see these cards.
No, and if they're seeing them out of the retro, the redo, the remakes. And again, nothing wrong with those. Those are cool cards. You get to see originals out of the original run of EX. The essential credentials now and future.
Which one do you want me to show first?
Show now. Show now.
You're gonna go lower numbered first? Wow. Well, at least in the TD realm.
And that's the thing. It's
So
you can
this
see the
is
still acetate.
it
Acetate
is
has
still yep, it is still acetate.
what is that called? The poly. Oh man.
So like putting it next to a base card, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
So like hollow foil on the name, on the EX, on the name or on the position, but the acetate area that you see on the base is now covered in the silver here. So trying to give you an idea of what the difference is, and then I'll do the same. So this is the essential credentials now. And for TD, this is 4 of 29. Granted, not as low numbered as the 98 version, but this is still a huge card. Huge.
Is that car again? Is 29 is a set number?
I don't remember what the designation is between future and now, Dave, to be
Because I
brutally
remember
honest.
front to back and then back to front. That's all I remember how it went. Like 1 to 100 was like that numbering, and then number 100 would have been the 101, and then number 1 would have been to 100 or whatever the case may be. And it went by one. It wasn't like by tens or whatever. It's like card 32 was well, if it was 1 to 100, it was 32 of 100. Then if it was 100 to 1, the future, it would have been like 68 of 100. Whatever the case may be. But that's how.
I don't remember what card number because like I can't fucking read it. But anyways, so that's the now. Number to 29. And this is the future. Same idea, same concept. Holofoil on the name, the EX position. This is now gold instead of silver. And this is numbered 25 of 62.
To see that maybe it was that then. Maybe the veterans are something different because it's been 1 to 90.
So that's both of them together.
But yeah, that is super tough. Super
now,
super tough.
Future. Huge cards. And I've had these for quite a while.
Is that now? And now going to be the future right now?
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, huge. Huge cards. Huge. Again, not as big as 98. But because I want to say I think the now version for 98 of TD is like numbered to 13 or some shit. And they go for big money. Like huge amounts of money. 99 is a little bit more, I'll say a little bit more affordable. But even then, the now being to 29, at least for Terrell Davis, is going to fetch some big bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. 99 EX Century Football.
Less cards than I thought.
Not a huge, but see, that's the thing. Like, not a huge set because 2 cards per pack, small amount considering like packs per box. You wouldn't expect to have, 10 inserts and 15 parallels.
Yeah.
And, with a lot of the 90s stuff, depending on the product, the number of inserts and parallels are, most sets are fairly consistent. 5 to 6. And then if you have autographs and mem and that type of stuff, then of course it increases. But when we talked about doing some of these, it was one, again, being able to show off cards in hand. You're not seeing them on Instagram. You're not seeing them in pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we all know, people can steal pictures. So how do you know if it's legit or not? But to actually see it in somebody's hand kind of does. You actually, it changes, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for?
Dynamic.
Yes and no.
It's like the presentation. You can present something in a light box with the proper lighting, with all this other stuff. Are you going to look at your cards that way?
I'm not, because I don't
Oh,
own
no.
one.
I don't know what I mean. You're going to show it. You're going to look at it like I take it out of the box. I'm going to look at it. And that's it. If you look at it the way you present it on a social media platform, well, congratulations. But most people aren't going to do that.
Yep. But again, like, although we're only giving 4 options, we're not killing you with multiple parallels and stuff along those lines with all the more modern stuff. But some of it's stuff that either one doesn't come up very often, something you may not see very often. And for any football guy, essential credentials are a big part of any player collector from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it started in 97. All of them were numbered to 100.
Yep.
98 is when they introduced the future and now. 98, of course, is almost unobtainable for a player collector. But 99 is the close second.
Because then in 2000, they changed it to straight print run of 25. Or at least 25 for the rookies. I don't know if it's 50 for the vets, but and then like 01 with Vic and Tomlinson and David Terrell. What was it, 199 or 299? So again, they started going away from the uniqueness of, if nothing else, it was forward to backwards, backwards to forwards in the print run. And again, yeah, that might have ruffled a few feathers, rattled a few cages, pissed a couple people off. Because again, if you got like Amos Airway, maybe he was the last one, maybe he was the 101. Sort of like, who was it? Vinny Premier, what private? Oh, I can private stock Premier Date? No, what is Titanium? Where like the Ty Conklin's the 101 out of the rookie set when they had the rookie jersey numbers,
Because
and
his number was 1.
it's just like, yeah, that it sucks, but that's going to be one of those unique cards that, again, people that might not collect hockey, oh, I remember that story because it was such an oddball story. And again, that was something that was fun. I like the private stock O2 hobby football. That was the same way because I've got McCown. I've got probably 4 or 5 of the McCowns to 12 because it was the jersey number with the football from the rookie premier photo shoot to 12. So anytime I find any of those of anybody out of that set, I don't care if it's Antonio Bryant, David Garrard, Vinny Dancing. Oh boy. Ooh. That was a real short staircase.
Yeah, that didn't go so well.
Who else? God damn it. John Henderson. I got a couple of his. Some of those D tackles that were like high 90s were jersey numbers. It's just stuff like that where you didn't see it. I like that type of stuff where it was different. Maybe other collectors didn't because it's like, well, I can't get my rookie card because it's not numbered to at least 100. Well, then you got to pay a little more.
Yep.
We're not willing to pay a little more at that time. So we've mentioned it a couple times, I believe, over the years. If you don't, especially with that low numbered stuff when it comes out right away, and you're on your guy or your gal or whoever you're collecting, and you're not willing to pay. Sometimes those come and they don't come back. So there's a lot of Dennis Northcutts I bought when I shouldn't have spent nearly enough, or nearly what I spent, and
But you didn't know, and
no.
that's the thing. I know, like O2 EX, the essential credentials are numbered to 50.
Okay.
So and you may start hearing some fireworks off in the distance here in the subdivision. But that sticks out in my head only because that was my inaugural post on Instagram, because I won it from a seller in Germany, and nothing from a value perspective compared to 97, 98, and 99. 98 is the tops. 97 is probably second ish, depending on your player.
Hmm.
But 99, because of the varying numbering, again, not something that you see pop up very often. Although I window shop a lot, I've seen a couple 98 show up, but I have yet to stumble across another 99 in the last, I don't know, year, give or take. Maybe they're still freaking sitting around in boxes and packs, or people are actually holding on to them, thinking
Hmm.
that maybe the same thing will happen to 99 as it did to 98. Who knows? But again, I've had both mine for
Years upon years.
quite some time. Uh, Again, because like essential credentials, when like you just know it when you're a football guy, and other sports. I'm not trying to say it's all football, because it's not, but again, as a player collector in the '90s, like if you knew they were in precious metals, uh, PMGs, essential credentials, like you knew that some of those cards were going to cost you some money, even years ago.
Yeah,
Nothing compared to what it is now, but years ago, you knew you were going to pay some decent money for
the mirror golds, the totally certified platinum gold. I mean, just anything where,
premium red stock.
yeah, it was the rubies. I mean, stuff where
Yep.
it looked cool. You're like, ooh, do you want to pay that now and risk not getting it? Well, a lot of us did that, and well, we're still searching for a lot of those cards to this day. So it's
Yep. I talk about it a few times. Had a chance to knock out both PMG, both the red and green, at the same time, probably 10 years ago. And I didn't like. I have no idea why I didn't do it. Oh, there'll be another time.
yeah. Or something else comes up, like a flawless comes out, or and that's always the thing with player collectors. And then at that time when you had stuff that was game worn coming out, cool shields, cool patch autos, game worn patch autos, and then you see, well, I want the insert stuff, but this new thing, man, that's badass. I haven't seen that for insert player here. Yeah, you'll see some sort of SPX type of deal. You'll see maybe a Donruss Classics, a Donruss Elite that's pretty cool. SPX that's got, I mean, whatever the case may be, some certified, Leaf Limited. You'll see stuff, but that's like, oh my god, this is crisp and this is nice. And So again,
Well,
it's not like, and not every collector does that, but I mean, you have a vast majority that you see it. The new thing always sort of nudges this way, at least neck and neck, to make you think. Instead of, hey, I want that. That's new, but this thing's been out for 20 years, 15 years, 25 years. I haven't seen that one, but this one's new and it's to 5, and oh boy, and it's like a lot of us don't have the fucking
Organizing while I'm in there.
the means to pull off both of them. And again, that's fine.
well,
But I
that was
mean,
always the thing. 10 years ago, my focus was autos.
yep.
But, again, hindsight's 2020. I'm glad I didn't. Where is it at? I got to be getting close. As far as a bigger card, I won't call it like super recent. But more recent than a lot of the stuff, like when you think of bigger cards. But, make if you want to make me big, Dave. Most people probably haven't seen one of these.
Super duper.
And Dave, you know exactly what this card is.
Gotta go to the rave, the super rave.
Number 11 of 25. So, like, this was, you could probably go back in my video archive and see when I picked this up, but out of all like the bigger parallels or variations, whatever term you want to use, but this being a parallel, I'll give you partial credit if you want to say variation, but this is another big card. You want to talk about something that doesn't pop up very often? I about fell out of my seat when I stumbled across this when I did. And at the time, I still leveraged, Beckett as kind of an idea
Mm-hmm.
from a price point perspective. And when you think of 98, a card number to 25, same thing with like 97, serial number to 50, extremely rare, very tough to pull, very tough to find. And, listed in Beckett at the time, I think it was like $40. And I think I paid almost 70. And at the time I didn't care because I hadn't seen one in God knows when.
Mm-hmm.
So like to finally snag that card, knowing of its existence forever, and to finally be able to win it, that was another big card off the list. So, and I'm sure I could probably stumble across some other shit here because, like, this box is 98 and 99, I think. Yeah. Because, of course, I had to, pull out stuff because I had to prepare. But here's a random. Of course, Dave will know this too.
Rookies and Stars slideshow. Is that the? I don't remember the nomenclature, but the 50,
No.
10, 25,
No.
100. Uno de uno.
So, you want to talk about huge?
Huge.
This is huge because it even says it right there too
Okay.
on the front. But yeah, another card I never thought that I would own from '99. So and again, I've shown off almost all of these, so it's not like this is the first time they've ever been on screen. But and it's just kind of cool that they actually have the game, the year, the date, who it is of. But yeah, 101 from 1999.
You have any
I'll
other
sit here.
1999?
What slideshows?
No, just 101s in general.
Probably. Trying to think off the top of my head without like pulling up the checklist.
Upper Deck?
I don't know if I've integrated that in here yet, Dave, because I know what card you're talking about.
I don't.
This only goes through tops. So the rest of 99 is going to be in another box. Yeah, this only goes through tops. So unfortunately,
Gary's got a
one
question for you there, Steve.
couldn't even tell you. I think I got it for just under $65, I think, at the time, which was a steal. I don't even think I can sniff the 25 for that price, which is crazy if you think about it. Because I have the 100, the one number to 100, number to 50, and then the 101. I can't remember what the 25 sold for, but I think it sold for more than what I paid for the 101. But yeah, Dave, it's not in here because it only goes through tops, and it may still be in this stack here. Hold on, because I may not have integrated it yet. Oh nope, I did. I did integrate it. Maybe. I'm double checking, but if it's not in the one stack, because this stack is newer stuff. Yep, it's been integrated. So it's in the other box. Because there's 98 and 99 are the two biggest years.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I have a little bit of room in these boxes to add a few more, but because 99 has the most amount of cards, 99 spans two boxes. Because I have 95 through 97 down below it, because I need to put back the Skybox premium stuff from the last show. And then since I have these out, I need to start working on slowly getting all the other stuff integrated and do an audit, because it's June. Oh, sorry, I guess it's not June anymore. It's the day before 4th of July.
Right.
You can tell where my mind is. But it's about time to do another audit, making sure everything where it's supposed to be. Because I stumbled across a few things as I was resorting through some other stuff. trying to put all like the TD dupes and stuff together. I feel like I may have some stuff misnotated, which means my count may go up a little bit, which is never a bad thing. But this is also why I audit.
This is wrong.
Hey, sometimes it's hard. Like some of the Pacific hobby retail stuff is not easy to determine. So, like if it's because, like for instance, uh, private stock, like that's gold, and there's also silver. One of them is hobby, one of them is retail. And sometimes when sorting through stuff, it's extremely hard to pick up some of the subtle differences in the coloring when you're like looking at stuff. And then you got something like this. This is like the base card, but for whatever reason, I didn't realize this was the base card. It wasn't marked off on the checklist that I had it. And it's like I stumbled across it. I'm going, okay, wait a minute. Now it makes sense. I had it marked and then I removed it because when I was looking through stuff, like I'm like, okay, something doesn't seem right. So the joys of a player collector. It's
And the
not all
joys of,
it's
and the
not all
joys of
fun and games.
no, the joys of a player collector in an era where stuff again looked like an insert, it looked like a parallel, but it was a base card, and I'm just glad at that time for '96 Invincible it wasn't gold was the base, and then you had some other extra gold for a gold parallel or something like that, where it's like, okay, there's a silver, there's a whatever copper, and there's a blue. What? And there you're done. You don't have to worry about fuchsia, polka dots, My Little Pony, whatever the case may be. It's you got a set amount, and you're pretty much good. The red too, maybe a couple years later, but I mean,
Collector's Edge and Pacific are two of the hardest ones sometimes to determine some of the variations.
especially with that 95 and like Magnum, 24 karat, 22 karat, Prism. That's like, hold on. There's one little stamp that's pretty much faded away because all the gold shipping came off, or the foil came off, and we're supposed to remember that, know that. It's like,
Well, and then you've got the 50-point variation. It's a thicker fucking card. Like
Collector's Edge
it just
98 Masters. That's the fucking worst because you have a hollow gold redemption to 10, and I think there's also a gold redemption to 100, and that was like a 50 point, and then you had the regular gold, which was numbered to 150. I mean, it just, again, I like the chase, but when you start to go back and look and try to figure out what the hell is going on here, you don't remember that shit from then. It's like I remember that part right there. I don't remember the journey to get to that part. If it was like just a redemption card, a redemption card for a set. I don't remember if you had to get X amount of points because there's some point stuff that was back then. Like if you had, what was it? Was it 90? Well, Metal Universe 97 for baseball. You had points too. If you accrued enough points to get, again, it was just wacky. Trying to figure some of the stuff out back then, and now trying to remember how the hell all of it came about and what you did. It was because you could get like
those
autographic.
were those were game days.
Yeah, game day 92, 93, or 93 and 94.
Yeah, they
I
did it
remember
for 2
'93.
years. They did it for
I
2
remember
years.
'93 for sure because again everything came out then with Bledsoe, and I mean everybody wanted to capitalize on that. I think it might have been '94 with Bulk too.
But yeah, no, those were game day. Back to this question. Do you have an answer, Dave?
There are folks that I don't think give a shit because that's what they've collected for a majority of their collecting career, as it were. But I think a lot of guys, and again, it could be the same that we've mentioned our stuff. I don't discount that at all. Where maybe you had a grandpa, maybe you had a neighbor, your dad, an uncle. Somebody collected a lot of this vintage stuff when you were a youngster. You'd buy the Beckett. You'd buy a sports card trader. You'd buy a Tough Stuff. You'd buy these magazines and you'd look up these cards that were from, again, Mantle, Mays, Aaron, Koufax, Robinson playing days, Clemente. And you look, you're like, man, I can't afford a $600 Clemente rookie then. Again, this being 1993, 95, 98, whatever the case may be. And again, I get where if that's your cup of tea and you want to go after this stuff now and funds allow it, 100% fine. Again, we've said it every time we've talked about cards. JG Wentworth, it's your money. Do with it what you want. I just, I don't need to see everything vintage, no matter what anyone says. I don't care if it's the foundation of our hobby. I don't care. Foundations shift. Again, do I want to see one segment of any hobby being displayed all the time? No. And that's not because I know more about this part than what is being like the vintage part. Nothing to do with it. Not a single drop. But when you have constant folks discounting every other aspect of the hobby because their fucking 50s and 60s tops run is the best out there, nothing else can compare. Again, Steve said it more than I have, even. That's your fucking opinion. That's great. You can have that opinion. But when you start pressing that opinion as it should be a fact because you believe it, that's when the problems arise. That's when I get irritated. And I don't hate watch. 'Cause I don't watch anything. I fucking don't watch any card stuff. I haven't done that in quite a while. I
Well,
just
and when you think about it, though, here before too long, though, 90s can technically be considered vintage. It's still got a ways to reach that, but at some point, 90s is going to be vintage. I know it doesn't fit the time range as far as like what's designated as vintage or pre-war, things along those lines. But in all practical purposes, at some point, stuff from the 90s is going to quote unquote kind of fall into the vintage category.
yeah.
It's going to happen. It's no different. Stuff that's coming out now. We'll all be dead probably, but eventually that's going to be vintage.
Yep.
Unless you start giving it another, name to it. So Everybody has their lane. Everybody collects what they like, what they enjoy. And again, it's how you hobby is how you hobby, regardless of what it is. You do you, whatever that is, and I'll do me. Dave will do Dave, and Vinny will do Vinny, and so on and so forth. Like that's just there's not one that's better than the other. There's not one that's more superior than the other. Like one, it's your channel. You do what you again. You do you, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my videos suck, so like I don't. Nobody wants to freaking see my ugly mug showing off cards, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I don't care. I've said it multiple times. I do it more as a video diary more than I do anything else.
Yeah.
If people watch, great. If you don't watch, fine. You make a comment, thank you. But at the end of the day, I don't do it for anybody else. I do it for me. Unless it's a gift and a care package, whatever, then I do it for them. I do it for the individual who sent something to me. Because that's the least I can do, right? But there is nothing better than the other. There is no sport better than the other. To each their own. For Dave and I speak for the both of us, we prefer football stuff. And again, there's not many football people out there.
And then
Vinny's a hockey.
I was gonna say Vinny and I would like to see more hockey as well. None of that out there, and if there is, it's very little.
Yep. Vinny is like hockey is more prevalent in the Instagram world. And yeah, it's great to, see cards.
And dollars.
But maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of people these days on Instagram aren't giving you any specifics about the cards. They just post the card.
Yeah.
And that's it. And for some of us, and both of you, keep your mouth shut because I know what you're gonna come back with. I don't know much on a lot of the hockey and parallels. Give me some information. At a bare minimum, like teach me, educate me. Because, although there's a lot of inserts and parallels that cross multiple sports, there's a lot of inserts and parallels that don't. They are specific to hockey or specific to baseball, specific to football, specific to basketball. Don't just post the fucking picture. Like, sometimes you can kind of figure things out, but other times it's like, okay, yeah, that's a cool looking card, but I have no fucking idea what that is.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
So if something sparks my interest, I can't very well go look for it to try and say, okay, I have a burr in my ass. I'm going to go check out, Dallas Stars shit from 99, looking for inserts and parallels. And somebody posts a shit ton of them on Instagram, but they don't give me any information. How am I going to go find it?
You should have that removed.
Should have what removed?
The bird grass.
Then I wouldn't be me.
Then leave it there. What I?
This is me. Love me, hate me, despise me. I don't care. I am who I am.
I'm an asshole.
And guess what? I love me. And that's all that matters.
Oh, I definitely love me.
So,
Bear half, you love me?
oh.
I
I
don't
was
know.
waiting for the, I
Sleeping
was
or
waiting
sad?
I was waiting for the snore.
Yeah, she's not sleeping, folks.
So,
I love you to infinity. Oh. Okay. That's reasonable.
I'll tolerate you.
That's reasonable too.
that was from a collection purchase. Slab is dirty as shit, but and yes, Dave, I know you still want. I know what you still want. But that takes a lot of that takes a lot of time. But I've told you I want the same thing, and I don't see you working towards it either.
Correct.
At least my shit's partially organized. Your stuff isn't even organized completely yet.
This
It's
is correct.
hard, man.
You
It's
have to
hard.
have the mindset to go into the shit and fucking do it. You can't just be like, I'm going to do it today. No, you have to literally. Again, it's not like going into like a game 7 or some bullshit like that. But you have to have the same type of mindset. You can't sit there and just pull out the cards, start going through shit and organizing, and then going through everything. You can't. You have to be mentally.
And it's a process. So for those who care, so this is all patches and autos that have to be integrated. This is all jersey cards that have to be integrated.
Game Gear or otherwise.
This is all base inserts parallels that have to be integrated. It's not hundreds upon hundreds of cards. But when you have 2,200 plus unique cards spread across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 boxes, it's work. But because I haven't been enjoying things so much, like you said, it's hard to get in the mindset. When I get in the mindset, do I enjoy doing it? Absolutely, because I get a chance and an opportunity to go back and start enjoying some of this stuff and remembering, oh shit, I forgot I had that. Which is another reason why I've liked doing some of these series, because it gives me a chance to go back and pull them out, look at them, and appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, there's not going to be substantial. There's not. There has to be something extremely special, unique, and it's like, oh shit. Like, okay, mental note. This one's not getting away. At least I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Type situation. But again, if I win, great. If I don't, I don't. I just, and then of course I have, stack of inserts, parallels, and rookies that need to get into the Broncos box. I have Broncos auto stuff that needs to get put into the, like,
Dave, where'd those come from?
I wonder. Maybe the two sons of bitches that are on the screen.
Hey, no.
This is a family show.
Oh, shut up. But that's something else. Like, and it, because like the Broncos stuff, like the insert space parallels, like I have it spread across multiple boxes. I have no order to that as it is. I don't. Is that something that I should do? Yes, at some point, because I would be curious. But I haven't looked at the Broncos auto collection. Well, I should say the Broncos memorabilia / auto collection in some time. And I know I've got some nice shit in there. I've shown some of it. I know I've shown some of it like offline to you guys. Dave, you've seen almost all of it, anyways. Uh, but even then, it's nice to go back and kind of look through stuff. Uh, it's not like I can go back. I mean, I guess I can to go back and look through, my Topps Chrome sets. Like I know what all the freaking sets look like.
Mm.
That's not super enjoyable
No.
because I know I have all the rookies except for 2001 and a few from '02, but like, I have all the big guys from '02. But still, it's like I know what I have. I know what the sets look like. I know what a lot of the big rookies look like because they're like cemented in my brain. So I don't need to go freaking pull out the binder and say, "Oh, yeah, there it is." Oh, yeah, exactly how I remember it.
Gary, to sort of answer your question too, why people crap on different parts of the hobby, it's a multitude of things. You want to be in with the in crowd, whatever's popular, and there's a lot of vintage guys, and you can sort of hook your wagon, not directly, maybe to some of the bigger names that we know in our community. Again, in our community, this isn't a Mr. Beast or somebody of that nature where they've got millions of subscribers and endorsements that are paying a truck ton of money. This is again just folks that we know. If you said people in our genre, you know them. Uh, that allows you for more visibility. That allows for your name to get out there, for you to build quote unquote your channel, your brand. Again, some people want to do that. They will sacrifice what they truly enjoy. Again, not everyone. It's not everyone, but there'll be some people that will definitely try to whore themselves out for views and subscribers and all that shit. And it's easier to put somebody else down than be an individual yourself. And to put that out there and be like, man, I really like this person because of this, that, or the other thing, instead of, oh, good, another person doing the same thing as the other people. Yay, hooray. So again, it a multitude of reasons. I don't know what they are. The reason I don't want to see vintage all the time is it seems to be what it comes across as like if I do happen to watch like a Cards Infinity or I do happen to put on one of my friends getting something great and that video now is in the algorithm and is going to pull from the rest and then I start seeing all kinds of vintage stuff. It's like, well, I didn't watch a vintage. It wasn't specific to whatever. It was what it might have been, but at the same time, if you're gonna do a card one, I'd rather see a breaker on there. Even though I'm not gonna watch that either. I don't need to see the same thing popping into the algorithm constantly because you got your copy of this card and you got your same copy and again, if one card makes everybody happy, hey, Barry Horowitz yourself, please. Pat yourself on the back. That's great. But a lot of it is the dick measuring contest that will always be associated with any hobby. You got your Corvette, well, I had to get one too, or Mustang, or whatever the case may be. I had to get this gun because you got that gun. I had to get this card because you got that card. You got in the 7, I got in the 8 because I like this bet. It's going to be the same thing because again, that's how a lot of folks work. I've never cared. As you can tell, we've watched 14 years of some of the shittiest quality videos of on earth. Yeah, I want to show shit off, capture moments with friends and my daughter and Trista and yelling at the lake and Lily chasing, well, not really chasing, Mr. Nuts just stealing food, stuff. Again, I don't care. You don't see that with a lot of people. I don't care. It's not like these people are celebrities and they have to hide their or choose not to show off what's going on. Even a hail video. I mean, I want to see stuff. We've said it before. You don't want to show it. Right there usually tells me that whatever connection of friendship I thought would have happened pretty much stops right there. And again, not in all instances. The guy below with the hand on the head always harkens back to the tale of me and some other fella talking on TV, on his TV through the YouTuber, and somebody actually answering him when there's hockey cards being discussed instead of glossing over, hey, this comment here. Well, let's fucking continue.
Nobody knows that, Jagoff. Piss
Yeah,
off.
to ignore this guy. So,
And what have we always said? Everybody has to start somewhere.
Agreed.
And the difference is, unfortunately, because the bulk of what is mainstream right now in the hobby space is vintage. It's hard for somebody who may be wanting to come into the community that does something outside of vintage to find other individuals that they may or may not want to get to know, interact with, whatever. And again, not knocking vintage.
which again, that seems to be something that people don't pick up in our message. Again, it's great you're showing it. Great that people have an understanding of it, especially with some of the stuff that again is like a food issue, is a tobacco issue where again we don't know shit about that. I will speak for all of us. That's stuff that is completely out of our wheelhouse. So if you've got information that's like pertinent and actual factual information, please divulge and inform people, especially novices like us when it comes to that stuff.
And a lot of people do. That's the thing. A lot of people do. So, it's it's great that there are channels out there that do that. But again, looking at it from a newcomer's perspective, because even when Dave and I came in, yes, the bulk of what was out there was football. And there was some vintage, there was some 90s, there was always modern stuff because of breaking and everything else. It was football with a spattering of baseball.
And basketball when you had patty ball and some of that stuff. But
Two park. So you had a little bit of everything,
BT,
but at the same time, like maybe I'm crazy. I just like I felt that it was a little bit more welcoming. Like everybody had to start somewhere. Had to put themselves out there, start having conversations, start interacting with people without anybody knowing who the fuck that you are, your knowledge, what you collect, if you even collect whatever. And as we see other people kind of come into the space, if you're a vintage baseball guy, eventually a vintage baseball guy who's known in the hobby is going to stumble across you and they're going to promote you.
yep.
For somebody who comes in that's a football guy or a basketball guy or even a hockey guy, like you're almost on your own little island.
That's why I hang out with Canadians mostly.
But even then, like outside of Paul, where and maybe who is it, Ziri or whatever, who does the breaks or whatever. For the most part, like there's not many hockey people on YouTube.
The doctor's Canadian. He just doesn't do a lot of YouTube.
He doesn't do videos.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
I got you.
So
there is very little.
So, and like right now, there's very few football guys. Bear Cards 34, me, Dave, when he actually gets football stuff, Brad,
Bart,
Yeah, Bart's cards.
Scotty.
yeah, but even like
Joey hasn't done anything for a while.
Yeah, Joey's been on hiatus. I haven't seen anything new from Bart in forever, I don't think.
Michael when he gets something, but again, this isn't like
Yeah, it's
sporadic.
small numbers. Cole Hamels fan, but
something.
Sometimes he's doing football, sometimes he's doing hockey. Depends on what he's picking up at the time. So like for those that aren't in the mainstream sport from a YouTube card collecting community, it's hard for other people to find those individuals.
And for hockey, Ziri's number one. There's I don't know. He's from one of the Eastern European countries. It's all in his native tongue, and he does breaks for hockey. I love watching it because just like to listen. You hear the names of the players, and that's it, and everything else is in his native tongue. GP Sports Cards, they're pretty big in Canada. They do breaks of all the new products.
But again, it's breaks.
Yeah, that's a breaker. And Ziri's Fulton's cards, he does breaks mostly. Mice Rule, who is very good. Paul.
Guessing that other guy does breaks though too. So
no, Mice Rule doesn't. He does a lot of recaps from like card shows.
Okay.
There used to be a husband and wife that did it, and I haven't watched them forever. Lately, for the last 4 months, it's been the Christmas episode, basically. And yeah, you heard the better half. Yay. Wake up every night to Bob Lewis.
But that's what I'm getting at. It's it's hard to. There may be others, but it's
Yeah.
hard for anybody to stumble across anything because most of the suggested videos that come up in everybody's feed around sports cards is vintage. It's vintage
Or
baseball.
Card Collector 2, Mojo, all the people
The
that have the
influencers.
subscribers that the people you don't want to watch to begin with because I don't want to see a stupid ass thumbnail. What Prism fucking vinyl did I buy at the goddamn Toledo card show this week?
I was
I
in
spent-
Tijuana.
I spent $20,000 on it. Well, good for you.
Here's 3 hours of my best negotiations from the years.
And yes, there are other channels out there from other sports, other aspects.
That's the one I was trying to think of, Jeff. I couldn't. I was like, I know there's another, but again,
But
more
again,
breaking, more breaking.
breaks. It's breaks.
And I try to watch Klutz and Chara. They're breakers. And everything's like when they hit something,
I can't.
more than I can handle. It's more than I can handle. GP Sports Cards is about my tone. And they go to Expo, and when they like come back and they show the halls, I sent you that link at time, Dave.
Yep.
And they seem to be decent fellows, and I like to watch hockey cards. And like I said, I'll just put in hockey cards sometimes. There's a great Canadian explorer. All he does is walk through the whole expo. That's all he does. Walks through the whole expo, and you're looking around and trying to see stuff. It's not the greatest footage, but he tries. It's and I mean they're 2 hours long. It's like literally him walking from the beginning to the end. So if you want to put that on just background noise, boom, there you go. Ooh, that's interesting. And I've not want to say got the lay of the land, but you see a lot of the stuff. You see the meat guy at Expo. I've seen him there. A lot of TGCs. So a lot more Pokemon than Magic.
I just want more variety.
Yeah.
That's all I'm. And again, a lot of the guys, they come in here, they chat, we have good conversations. We're friends with a lot of them. It's their forte.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with it.
Nope.
We're still friends with them. Not a big deal.
Like to learn from them.
Yeah.
But, it's the lack of variety for something that the bulk of what's out there doesn't pique the interest. It makes it very difficult to want to watch stuff.
And I'd be more in tune to collect more sports if things weren't $8 gagillion a box. Because call me stupid or loser or whatever that dude called people that open packs. Sorry, that's how I grew up. I went in the store to Cuz's Corner and I rolled into the show or Teddy Louie and Cuz and TLC for short. I'm trying to think of the other one. The one I started, the first one I ever went to, I can't think. Scott's Cards. And it was next to 4-Star Pizza. Man, that was some fine pizza. I digress, squirrel. I opened packs. I never really bought singles. I bought packs, and I ripped packs, and I put sets together. And I had my Lemieux singles, but I was trying to put sets together because that's what I was. And I've evolved over the years, but I can't. I like a lot of the Steelers, but I can't go putting budget into that and expect to have money sitting there for some banger Lemieux card that rolls up because they're getting few and far between. I got a lot of stuff that I want, and the stuff coming up now, unless it's new, then you know, like this came out the other day and extended. So it's Seeing Red.
What is it, Caesar?
Yep, Seeing Red.
Caesar?
No,
Chevelle.
Chevelle, that's what it was.
yeah. So there's a gold variation and a silver variation. This is out of extended.
Is that a card? Is that a card you really like?
It's okay. I thought it's better looking in hand than it was. I'm curious to see what the gold and the silver look like. I actually like the setup there. That's the, even though it's the Flying V, it's the alternate Flying V, which I dig. Speaking
You
of
dick.
dig, you're being a dick, but
And you would expect anything less?
true. Speaking of EX,
But why 3 copies?
because I bought.
You don't you don't love the card, you just like it, so why 3?
It was cheaper to buy it in a lot of 3 than it was to buy individual. So
That's fair. Makes sense.
Yeah, I thought those three separate purchases. I'm like, wow,
no,
that's what happens if you love the card and just like
That's the difference. See, now we're learning.
it. Yes.
Now we're learning.
so, and then while we're at it,
Does he have? I looked up Lindros first time right before the show, and I haven't looked up Lindros in probably close to 3 to 4 weeks. And I see he's got like the Upper Deck Heroes. There's an acetate out of extended, like the old school Heroes.
yeah, Lemieux doesn't have one, but Stamkos.
Okay.
Which
Because I saw that and I'm like, that's not in the wheelhouse at all. But I'm like, that harkens back to a simpler time, and then the acetate thrown on there.
they are gorgeous. They're very pretty. They're like, hold on. I don't know if I have any in here. Meet. Uno momento, por favor.
So yeah, I saw that, and I don't. There's a few I threw in the watch list because I'm like, ooh, that's not a bad price. Ooh, I'm like, I can't reasonably buy anything, but I'm like, that stays cheap enough. I can.
I put them. I just try to organize this by year, and I must have put it in there. But they're nice. I had did one of them sneak? No. But yeah, there's a 90s and an 80s one for Lemieux. And I got a couple copies of those. And that in acetate, I hope they continue that, and it'd be nice for next year because I would like to get those. Those are because, as you know, I'm the Cranked Up, which is acetate. So that sets in the work for this year. That's the version for this year. And I'm one short of the rainbow from last year. I just need the 101, which the likelihood is less than favorable. But speaking of EX, there's EX for Lemieux. That year it was numbered. And then the 12-13 retro EX is there, which is what makes your essential credential. And it's to quote Dave or Steve and Bob from the Christmas episode, it's the peak.
Paper butt.
And then you have one of those,
jambalaya.
which is just, I love this Mardi Gras kind of feel. I love that feel to that. It is spectacular.
It's what?
Spectacular. Dave, I think he has one of these too. This is out of Allure, all-time greats.
The case hit.
Yep. And then there's also that. I think it's the Blooms. Paul actually told me about this one. So that's more recent. And there was a Easter egg case hit type deal out of Fleer Ultra EPAC, I believe. Upper Deck. No, that was out of Credentials. So
I still have to get what is it, the Premier Padmen that they came out with this past year.
yeah, they're nice. That I wish that was an EPAC. EX is coming back for Bedard. Picture that. They're going to reintroduce that. So
yeah, so they can have essential credentials.
yeah. So that's coming out here soon. Then SP Authentic will be coming out within a little while. MVP slated for 24-25. We're still waiting for the cup from last year. So it should be coming out soon. Synergy 23-24 came out, of course, because that's what that cranked up's from. SP Game Use is out. Black Diamond, I believe, is out for 23-24. Yep. So it's getting down. What you call it? The cardboard connection's been lacking on their updates. One moment. So it's hard to keep track of what's coming up. But last thing that was out was Synergy, I believe. No, extended. 23-24 extended. And the price was cheaper than Series 2. I wonder why. So it went back to, it normalized. And then there's still a glut of, well, EPAC 23-24 came out Series 2. So we'll see how long that lasts. And then I'm sure 23-24 Series 1's due for a dippity-doo-dah shortly. And I'm sure that there are already, I think Joe gave me a statistic that there are already more Bedard Young Guns graded than McDavid, Ovechkin, Crosby. I think that's what he said. Don't quote me, but it's Bedard is like high up on the old PSA grading chart now. So what does that tell you?
They printed them to oblivion.
Yeah. So if the pop count is this high, when all this hype wears off and there's 8 gagillion of them sitting there, you're going to be like, Now, Zetterberg and Dotsuk's going to the Hall of Fame. His Young Gun's about $700 because it was short printed, so was Zetterberg's. So that's a Hall of Famer and a future Hall of Famer. And then
short prints, and I that's not me like calling you out or like it's
yeah, exactly.
Is it really or
and who else is going in? Roenick's going in. And somebody else. Roenick, Datsuk, and help me.
Derek Plant.
Who?
Derek Plant.
Why do I even ask? Was he in Billy Madison too? We want to talk about movies next.
No,
he
was
already
A Walk to Remember.
Yeah. And the other thing I was noticing lately is Weber, Shea Weber. That's it.
Chris Weber?
Shea Weber. Because I grabbed one of his Young Guns out of the 3 going in. Well, Roenick doesn't have one unless he has like a 0405 reprint Young Gun. All his stuff is 9091. Weber has a Young Gun, and so does Dotsuk. Dotsuk has a lot of Pacific stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
But the other guy I was reading about was Korea. I was talking to Joe about it, and I'm glad I picked these up because apparently Korea cards are, so there's that one.
South Korea.
No, Paul Korea.
Kim Jong-un.
He doesn't have any post playing day cards, and they're not likely to be any cards made anytime soon. So, what's the last year? The last year the cup that was out was 21-22. So we need 22-23 and 23-24 because those are the winners out of 21-22 the cup. So you got that one. They have autograph versions of this. The show, and then the black version. Both numbered to 49.
No base card.
No, he did not have a base card, so that was that. But for personal cards, I have not bought a ton. Like I said, this is all from last December. The last thing I bought was this, which I got for $5 because this is out of Pinnacle, but this is Panini Pinnacle.
That's almost like an oxymoron.
Yeah. And then I grabbed one of these.
The Force.
Yeah, this is 22-23 Force. So Yager, Lemieux, Francis, and Malcolm. And then I don't know if I ever showed that. I got one in a PSA 10, but it was not numbered, so apparently it was backdoored. But this one's numbered. Yager of 100.
Jeremy Jagger.
And they asked him about
Jagger.
retirement yesterday or the day before, and he goes, "I die on ice."
More than likely, yes.
He's 52. Should be 52 this year, I think. I think he was born in 72. So still playing, still doing his thing. And when they did the ceremony, I watched it when they retired his number. He goes, "Girlfriend doesn't remember me playing. She's only 25. So he was married to Miss Czechoslovakia for a long time. But apparently he is now on the open market dating-wise.
Yeah, well.
And what did it came in? Oh, this came in this week. So I don't have too much with Sid and Mario. 2 color on Sid, the duo, and then him and Wayno, which is gorgeous from, I believe that's Ultimate. Yep.
Looks like it.
And then Sid, Wayne, and Mario. Bless you.
Really, Dave?
That's a nice little chunky patch.
Gabagool there.
Yep. That one. And I think, is that 0506? I'm pretty sure. Yep, 0506.
Didn't he just say he hadn't picked up much for himself lately?
This was over the last 6 months. And then I got that a couple months back. I don't know if I showed that.
I think you showed that one last week.
Oh, did I?
Decent patch for such a small window.
Yeah. I think I did, given the fact that you said that. So, and that's that. But now all those are in a box with the other one. So I got this handful of stuff that didn't belong in there. So that'll go. I have to get top loaders and put them in there. And then do one of Mr. Kretz integrations.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, wrap us up.
Thank you for everybody, all of you that joined us tonight. Hope you learned something about EX football, 1999, EX Century. If you did, comment down below what you learned. 4th of July tomorrow. Have a safe 4th. Don't do anything stupid, fireworks wise, drinking wise. Be safe out there. Don't run out in front of the fire truck to get the candy. Just candy. Buy something in the store. And still keep your hand or your life. So don't light off fireworks with Jason Pierre coming.
Apparently they're shooting off in my backyard. Galaxy.
It sounds like something.
They're relatively close. And little dog doesn't need to get in the crossfire.
No.
I'm surprised we're not hearing as many, because usually today, tomorrow, and the day after.
And yesterday too. I mean, that's usually 4 or 5 days.
There hasn't been much in the neighborhood this year.
God rest Dryden's soul. He'd have been under this table with me right now. He did not ever bother Ghost, doesn't bother Galaxy, but Dryden, he was like Cease with his ears. They do not like loud noises. And Dryden would just come, and one time I found him in a bathtub. He was just chilling in there, laying down. I was like, so I went and laid next to him in the bathtub till it was over. And I picked him up and put him on the bed, and he just sat there. But every time I hear fireworks.
Well, that, and remember too, if you got, Steve, the neighbor across the way, Vietnam guy.
Yep.
So if you're going to be lighting fireworks off and you have some sort of relationship with some of these neighbors that have that experience, let them know. They might not like it. That might trigger something from a much darker time in their past that they're trying to.
People don't care, though.
So,
that's the problem.
Hashtag facts.
People don't give a shit. They don't take that under advisement at all.
I know.
It's unfortunate.
We do. So let's try to spread that message to all of you guys that are watching, to every last one of you. So for Vincenzo, for Steve, I'm Dave. This has been the IRP. Remembering.
How much have you had to drink, Dave?
I wish more. Collecting cards, wonderful hobby. The friendships you forge along the way, that's what really matters. Have a happy and safe 4th, everyone. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.